it been like on the practice field this week?
You know, it's been humbling, but I think it's a situation that we can definitely rebound from. I think we put a huge light on the situation. I think that you know, you can take all those press clippings and all that other kind of stuff and kind of toilet flush that stuff, and now let's get ready to be really good and see what we really are and get better. You know, I mean, I think it was an eye-opening experience, so to speak, and we have nowhere to go but go up. That's for sure.
Well, just did the kids? I hate to say embrace that, but I mean more along the lines of did they accept it? I guess.
Although that didn't really matter. I think they got what we were trying to put across. I think they understand where they're at now.
Coach, what are the emotions like for you this week, knowing you're going to have your first home opener at BG?
You know, if the game would have ended a different way, I might have a lot of stuff for that. With me, I'm really simple. I always talk about there's no gray in the program, the black and white of things. We need to play well, and we need to put a different performance on the football field than what we just left out there on Friday. And I think every coach and every man to the T is ready to do that.
Coach, you talked last week about you'd learn a lot about your football team after the first game. Can you talk a little about what you learned from your football team, from your staff after the first game, and what you learned from them this week in preparation for this first game?
Absolutely. I thought that there was phases that played extremely hard, and it just goes to show you you can give a great effort, but if you don't have the detail, that effort is wasted. And I think that coaches and players learned that. I learned that there was a lot of fight in this football team. There were phases that just, although they did not start off as well as they had hoped, did not give up and continue to fight. And I was proud of that fact. And then there were phases of our game where we had no idea what was going to happen that exceeded and played above what our expectations were. So I think there's a lot of positives to take from it.
Do you think for the kids that here, you know, for the last, since you were hired, you know, you've talked about potential means absolutely nothing, but kids are kids, you know, potential to them might mean a little something different. Do you think that kind of gets in their head and maybe played a little bit of a factor into how you guys started off last week?
You know, we're in the Google stage of things where if you want something, you just Google it, and everything's immediate feedback. You don't have to work for anything. You don't have to go to an encyclopedia. You just touch your phone and the answer is right there. And you know, there's a lot of old school in me, and I think that when people talk about the potential of things, even media and coaches, that doesn't register with me. I just look and through my own eyes, and if I see it's right, it's right, and if I see it's wrong, it's wrong. That's one of the things that disturbed me the most about the game, is that I did not see the wrong, and that bothered me a little bit. I mean, watching it on tape, I had no idea that performance would happen. Watching some of the guys that put in some performances that were not worthy of our expectations of what good football looks like, it surprised me, and that's what bothers me the most, because if I saw it, I'd have handled it. And learned a lot about the football team, learned a lot about individuals on the football team, and now we can start coaching, because now we've gone through a game together. We've seen what some people do in games and what other people do in games, and we have a much, much better feel of what we're working with. So it was great finding that out. Difficult situation the way we found it out, especially on national TV. But I actually feel better.
Or is that kind of nice? I mean, sometimes, like you said, you got to see what you got before you know where you can go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Talk about what the kids learned and how they grew from the experience, and I guess to follow up on that point, Coach, the staff itself. You learned a lot about your staff after the first game.
Yeah, there was things. I think the kids learned a lot of stuff. I think a lot of that stuff was reiterated on the practice field, and I think they have a good feel for what is acceptable now and what is not acceptable. From a staff standpoint, it was definitely one of those growing moments. You know, we talk about marriages and relationships. We had one of those spats. You know, the neighbors next door calling saying, "Are you guys okay?" Yeah, we're okay. You don't have to call anybody on us. And now we need to grow from that and turn negative into a positive and rewrite the story. The story's just started. Okay, this is a long season. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon, and it's just starting. So let's make sure the book finishes with a happy ending.
Can you talk a little bit about VMI? What were the things that struck you about them coming in?
You know, I put some notes down because I wanted to make sure I was clear on those guys. They have from a defensive standpoint, they have a 3-year starter at linebacker, Logan Stabb, number 41, who's their bell cow for sure. He's the guy that's creating all the action for him, one of their better defensive players. They have a very good corner, number 7, Damian Jones. He's a sophomore defensive back that made a lot of plays on tape. Looked like he was a type of player that we might want on our football team. And then number 99, Joe Nelson, a sophomore, inside player, 6'3", 265, 56 tackles last year. Those 3 cats are the guys that really stood out on defense for me. From an offensive standpoint, they have a number 85, Aaron Sanders, is an excellent wide receiver. They have another receiver, number 80, Sam Patterson, who hasn't played this year yet. That is really, really good. They have an offensive tackle, Andy McCote, 3-year starter, 6'8", 325. He'll be the largest thing on the football field. Excellent football player, good run blocker, good pass blocker. The tailback, Deion Watts, had 97 yards last week, number 2. And Al Cobb, their redshirt QB, and I want to say, this might be wrong, but I want to say he's a freshman. 308 yards, 4 TDs. So, I mean, here's a redshirt freshman throwing for 308. We just left a senior that threw for, what, half a G? So, you know, obviously, we're really excited about getting an opportunity to go against another excellent young passer, just to find out where we're at now with our secondary and with our defense.
Gary mentioned that the offense left the defense on the field way too much, too many 3 and outs. How do you make sure that the offense, is there something that you saw right away that you want to tweak to make sure that Matt gets the points on the board early and gets the offense clicking so that takes some pressure off the defense?
You know, it's so cool. I just came out of the staff meeting. Is that our offense? We had 6 drops. 3 drops were for touchdowns, and 2 of the other 3 drops were for first downs. So that's 21 points we put on the board. If you catch the 2 drops we had, that's 6 more plays on offense, not telling you where those drives go. And we really do pride ourselves on not putting the ball on the football. I mean, on the ground when it comes to catching the football. We understand that we're not computers and things happen, but 6 drops is way too many drops in a football game for our wide receiving crew and the way we train them. So I'm glad that he took ownership with that. That's something that we're going to be working very hard on, and I think he's exactly right that offensively we could have did some things that could have helped our defense, without a doubt.
Go back to the defense, Coach. The run defense is pretty stout for the game overall. With the success that they had against us in the secondary last week, even despite a freshman quarterback. Are you expecting teams now to kind of game plan to see if they can have any success in the air against us now?
I would. I thought that our run defense was outstanding when I was watching the game. I was like, those guys can't run the ball on us. They could not run the ball on us. Now, they didn't have to. And what we've got to do is we've got to put them in a situation where they have to run the ball on us or they have to go through our strength instead of, you know, skating around the edges, so to speak, and going against our young people that don't have as much experience as our interior guys. You know, as coaching, we need to do a better job of that to make sure that we give our good players a chance to have an effect on the game and to let our younger players grow up as the season moves on.
Coach, do you feel like the secondary, knowing, going off that point, do you feel like the secondary is ready and is willing to accept that challenge? You know, the teams are going to game plan for the air?
I don't know if they're ready to accept that challenge. I know that we've got a game Saturday at 3:30, and 2 cats or 4 cats are going to run out there, and they better play some football. That's what I know.
Is this game against VMI less about game planning and preparing for VMI and more about fixing what ails Bowling Green?
I think that this is definitely take care of a Bowling Green week, and thank God we get an opportunity to have a football game on Saturday to try to make us to help heal ourselves, give us an opportunity to try to win a football game. You know, we haven't won a football game yet, and half the coaches in America lost last week and half won, and I'd like to be in the upper half next week.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thanks.